everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Digitalk Architects. Today we have Krishna with us. Krishna, please go ahead and tell us about yourself, your experience, and your companies, of course.
Awesome, sure. Hey everyone, thanks for this opportunity, Carolina. My name is Krishna Kurnala. I am the CEO of Fast Search. We are a digital transformation and an IT implementation partner for Fortune 500 companies, headquartered here in St. Louis, Missouri, the Midwest area, and we are a global firm, though.
Very good. You've been doing this for a while, right? Tell us a little
Yes,
bit
yes.
about your past experience. Where did you start? What have you done?
Sure, absolutely. So we are in this business for like the last maybe 5, 6 years now. I started at some point in 2018. I started Stellar IT Solutions back in 2018. That's another company I have, and then acquired two other businesses along the way. So that's how one company became three. Now I pretty much own and operate three different companies, but all the three companies do the same things: enterprise business solutions, staff augmentation, that kind of thing. So it's easy for me that way because it's the same set of operational staff running all the three companies.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned, you work with Fortune 500 companies.
Uh-huh.
What are some of the most transformational changes you've observed in the enterprise IT over the past few years, especially obviously with the rise of AI, AI. It's all the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, for sure. Just not to break the thread of conversation, but maybe can I add some more information about my
Of course,
background to the earlier question?
100%.
Awesome, awesome. Sure, sure. So I'm actually a software engineer by education and experience. Prior
Mm-hmm.
to starting Stellar IT Solutions, I have a master's in electrical engineering from Santa Clara University, worked in the IT industry for more than a decade, worked for companies like Google Cloud, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, Walmart.com, Macy's.com, bunch of technology companies in the SF
Mm-hmm.
Bay area as well. And I have the entrepreneurship bug from my childhood, and pretty much once I got my green card back in like 2018, that's when I made the switch.
Okay.
Otherwise, I was a high-tech H-1B worker earlier, so that's a little bit backwards from 2018 as well.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so yeah, definitely, I would like to answer your current question.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So, what are some of the most transformational changes you've observed in the enterprise IT over the past few years, especially with the rise of AI, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There are so many different trends that we are observing and helping the clients to adapt as well. Most recent trend is generative AI, right? You know, there's so many different LLMs like ChatGPT or Gemini,
Mm-hmm.
Grok, all these things. That's a major technology trend, and almost all Fortune 500 companies have plans or already have their own internal enterprise GPTs made available to the vendors and employees of these companies. So that's generative AI is one huge shift that we are seeing, and like that's even like back like few years ago, there's a huge push for being cloud first, thinking cloud first, how to architect your applications and digital infrastructure in the cloud and run all of your operations of your business in the cloud. There's so much focus and emphasis 5 or 6 years ago, and companies were thinking hard about it back then. Now it's people are moving towards more of like a AI first mentality. Like, how do I architect applications, and how do I prepare my data? How would my enterprise be ready for the AI wave, taking full advantage of the AI tools and the ecosystem? And AI is very much poised to become the new operating system of the enterprise. So that's like a very important trend that is happening right now. So still there is a lot of emphasis on the cloud. Cloud strategy
Mm-hmm.
in the enterprise today is more about revenue optimization in the cloud, cost optimization in the cloud, emphasis on more security and improving the security postures of organizations so that they are less vulnerable to modern hacking vectors and that sort of stuff. There's a lot of change in the data architectures and how enterprises approach data as well. There's like a data readiness programs in all these major enterprises, kind of like a data fabric for AI, because highly prepared data sets, vectorized data is needed for a successful AI implementation to train and make the AI infer the knowledge of the enterprise and the processes and do the right things independently. So we are seeing a lot of like a data mesh architectures, domain driven data structures. People are moving towards more like enterprise data lakes, cloud-based data warehouses. A lot of adoption is going on into these platforms like Databricks and Snowflake, all this also. So yeah, I mean, at a high level, these are like the major technology trends, I would say.
So at this point, what do you think are the most important like digital architecture principles for especially large organizations which you deal with regularly?
Sure. Like, there are so many different things. We can take the question in many different ways, essentially. Like basically, if you think about application development and enterprise applications, there's one enterprise pattern would be to use clean composable building blocks for enterprise applications, kind of like moving away from monolithics to microservices that
Mm-hmm.
are like, even the design of the microservices is more around capability driven and having a decentralized domain driven approach from an enterprise architecture perspective. So that is one important architectural principle that is taking shape essentially in the core systems for the enterprise.
Okay.
And there's also a lot of changes, as I said, in terms of data, data mesh architectures, creating a unified data fabric where, data is made available over APIs for enterprise applications to consume
Mm-hmm. Yep.
rather than using traditional ETL pipelines, that sort of a thing. So that's an important trend. Zero trust architecture when it comes to security is a very important trend that we are seeing. We are seeing a lot of emphasis being given to observability and telemetry tools.
What does that
Uh,
mean?
like you are basically going to instrument your software code using different kind of like libraries. You can either standardize on a third party application performance monitoring tool like New Relic or App Dynamics and you basically, suppose you're a developer, you're writing a Java service, a microservice. You're going to embed the SDK of App Dynamics or New Relic or some kind of like open telemetry, Loki, some kind of libraries like that, and you are able to get metrics out of a live running JVM. And then you are able to use these metrics to create dashboards that are very, very application or business specific. Often these dashboards can contain KPIs that is a combination or a formula of these exposed metrics from your enterprise application or service. all that sort of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. And we are also seeing a lot of agentic AI, like AI that would do
Mm-hmm.
stuff. MCP servers are becoming standard. That would provide AI with integration with enterprise tools.
Right.
So agentic AI is another important technology trend that we are seeing as well in terms of like architectural patterns.
So are enterprises actually building these agentic AI systems now?
Oh yeah, very well. If you see OpenAI has an agentic SDK that is made available. So there's a huge push for agentic AI. What agentic AI can do is it is able to integrate all the enterprise applications, and it is able to call tools, have specific skills, and it is able to integrate and talk to different applications that you have, your ERP system, your CRM system, your
Mm-hmm.
applications databases, and it is able to automate business workflows. So you are able to optimize a lot of stuff. So agentic AI is the next key piece. We've seen a lot of companies now have at least pilot projects on enterprise LLMs, like
Mm-hmm.
but it is that is available inside your company's VPN, and it is able
Okay.
to answer based on company's knowledge database or chatbots. These are like the first incarnations, but now I think it's going to be a lot more thing. There are almost every major provider of whether it's Anthropic, OpenAI, there are pockets in the enterprise where people are using Meta's Llama models and things like that
Mm-hmm.
inside their data centers. So
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So multi-agent orchestration, how they can do it, things like that is very popular. And what we're also seeing as a consulting firm is the mid-market companies. This is the story of the Fortune 500s. The mid-market companies are using tools like Zapier,
Mm-hmm.
N8N, LangChain, LangGraph, these kind of tools, and they are trying to use agentic AI, but it is not like raw or highly customizable, but comes with a lot of integrations, things like that. So we see that in the mid market because it's cost
Okay.
effective for the mid market companies. And enterprise companies have deeper pockets, have
Of
more
course.
talented software engineers that are able to
Right.
build purpose-built systems for the company.
Mm-hmm.
So they are pursuing all this kind of stuff. They would become partners and use the SDKs of OpenAI or Anthropic and build implementation projects on it.
So there's actually sort of a separation between the enterprise level and the mid-market on how
Yeah.
they're implementing and applying AI to their businesses.
Yes, yes. What generally happens is in the mid-market, you want you want to see ROI quicker. You're
Mm-hmm.
optimizing more in a short-term horizon, and you are able to accept even average results, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you have less savvy software engineers as well. So the skill set and capabilities of the internal employees of the mid-market companies is also a little lesser. So that's why
Okay.
you see this difference.
Okay. So let me ask you, I mean, as you know, we are in the marketing in AI automation business, the mid-market level.
Yeah, yeah.
What insights can you share on how these, how marketing strategies are evolving in the adoption of AI and advanced analytics at that mid-market enterprise
Yeah,
level?
yeah. Absolutely. I think we would see a lot more AI adoption, um, AI adoption in pieces like customer service or using voice agents to provide like the first touch point of your business for a brand new customer would potentially be a voice agent based AI, you know. front desk of these businesses can be AI based. Customer service would be AI based, and I think a lot of mid-market companies have campaign management and spend marketing budgets optimized for search engine optimization for all these years. That
Mm-hmm.
would change, in my opinion, to being more discoverable to answers in LLMs. You know, how would
100%.
Perplexity, suppose, a company provides, like, let's say it's an insurance agency. They would they would also base their marketing budget and campaigns around how discoverable they are from when somebody asks about insurance in Perplexity or ChatGPT, things like that
Mm-hmm.
too. So you would see a lot of these mid-market companies prioritize LLM-based discovery for their businesses and services and their ratings among the LLMs, things like that also. So that's another thing that I would see. And whether it is enterprise or mid-market, we should also expect AI to be used in the context of marketing for hyper personalization and at scale. Like, you want to leverage AI to understand individual customer behavior, preferences, and
Right.
deliver
Yeah.
tailored expenses across every touch point, whether it's an iPad,
Mm-hmm.
laptop, or a phone, things like that. So all the marketing campaigns are also going to be much more continuous, take a more data-driven approach, in my opinion. And we are able to, we will also be able to even decode customer behaviors, predict churn, like, things like that. And also, I think in mid-market companies, pricing strategies can evolve too. That's one of my personal prediction too. In the sense,
Mm-hmm.
like, we moved from a more of like a enterprise, or even like, license-based models. Software generally evolved from license-based model where they will sell you like a Microsoft Office license and you pay X amount of money for it, to more of like, now we are seeing Microsoft Word online, for example, or Excel
Right.
online. The world moved to SaaS, and now it is now it is the pricing models would be AI driven, meaning like in the SaaS model you are paying X amount of money per month for using a SaaS software,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. But even that could change, and the pricing models could be innovative and based on what a customer uses and how much a customer uses a certain product or a feature inside a product can be changed using AI. And that would become a superpower because the customer can no longer compare apples to apples or oranges to oranges, because their spend and cost would be different based on their engagement with the product. So I think we would see all this stuff. I would see some of these vendors like Shopify, things like that, come up with innovative products that is going to change this game, essentially.
Hmm. Yeah, I never thought of pricing being affected by AI, but that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, every business wants to differentiate itself, right?
Of
They
course.
want to make the customer believe that their tool is for them, specifically them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where all of this would evolve.
So, what do you think are the biggest challenges that these companies at the Fortune 500 level and that mid market we were talking about, what do you think are the biggest challenges they're facing when implementing AI in digital solutions across different departments, different regions? I mean, I know it's happening everywhere, but what are the challenges?
Actually, one funny thing about Fortune 500s, I would say, like, the challenges have always been the same 50 years ago versus now, and even 50 years into the future. I've seen this over the past couple of decades, essentially, personally, firsthand myself. And the challenges are traditionally not technological. They are
Okay.
more organizational and cultural. If you personally ask me, all the Fortune 500 companies have legacy systems, siloed
Yeah.
data, risk averse culture, resistance to change, and all the Fortune 500 companies, the reward model for people is always have been like how much of a budget you personally have and how many people report to you. So because of all this, technology wouldn't get implemented the right way. There's a lot of waste in very big companies and global companies. There's a lot of waste. Essentially, as a small business owner myself, I keep my house tidy and we keep track on expenses and prioritize spend based on ROI and all that. It doesn't get done that well in Fortune 500 companies, in my opinion.
Okay.
Implementing AI and digital solutions basically require a fundamental shift in a mindset from more of like a project-based approach to more of a product-based approach. You have to break down the department barriers, foster a culture of experimentation, continuous learning. Companies, particularly Fortune 500 companies, should invest heavily in training their workforce on understanding and using the AI technology in whatever job they do based on their role within the company and address the significant challenge. There's always a talent gap. So they can address the talent gap by investing in the knowledge and upskilling with AI for their workforce. Um, overcoming these challenges needs strong leadership. It should have clear vision, relentless focus on change management, and the positive mindset of adapting to change. For example, if if an employee is asked to implement AI, they should not think like, "Oh, are they trying to fire me by making AI do my job?" kind of thing.
Yeah, you know what? That is one of the biggest misconceptions of AI and what everybody automatically goes that way. Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
lose my job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's not really the case. If you are a smart guy, smart person, you can leverage AI, become much more productive, deliver more value, and also propose new ideas and projects, things like that to your management. Be seen as somebody very technologically forward and very um, with you can be seen as a person being approaching things with a very progressive mindset, and that would help you elevate and grow in your organization too. Yeah, definitely, that's the thing.
So you're right in the weed of things, right? Like you're right in there helping them with the technology, the projects. So can you share? I know obviously for obvious reasons you don't need to drop names, but can you share maybe an example of a successful AI digital transformation project that you've led or seen and what made it work? What made it successful?
Okay, yeah, yeah, sure, absolutely. So, we are working with, like really big pharmaceutical companies and one really big manufacturing company, a global manufacturing company, in terms of like we're doing some AI related projects that come under the category of smart manufacturing, for example, like
Okay.
how the enterprise can leverage AI for predictive maintenance of machinery and predictive like how do you increase worker safety in your factory, and how do you like using a combination of hardware and software that is sensor based, things like that. How do you optimize your spend, track your inventory, and create essentially like a digital twin for your factory workflow online, like inside a SaaS tool. So we are doing those kind of like fundamentally long-term, really transformational projects that we are really excited and proud of. And we've also done like not that fancy, but important, digital transformation projects that are AI based for like banks. There's one trend that people are still not talking about that I personally believe that would be a trend, that is enterprise knowledge management. Enterprise knowledge management is all this data that is sitting inside the wiki pages of your organization that
Mm-hmm.
contains information about the processes, who are the key gatekeepers, all the knowledge that is stored in the SharePoints or
Yeah.
ERPs of your company, things like that. All the data would eventually need to get ingested, organized, tagged, and be fed to AI so that AI agents or generative AI is able to give great answers, take good actions, things like that. So what we're going to see, in my opinion, is all this data would actually move into graph and vector databases, and these graph and vector databases, are special. It's a fundamental
Mm-hmm.
different technology. Like basically you upload a video or an image or a blob or a PDF, anything into these databases, you are able to query the insides of it. When you run a query, you are able to know that you are able to get access to the contents inside the image or video too. If you have your video in this kind of a database like that, um, uh, you would see like a lot more organization of data and knowledge management that is going to happen. So we are doing all this stuff, whether it's a Pinecone or LangChain, LangGraph, GraphQL, using these kind of technologies to organize the bank's internal data and then feeding it to an AI chatbot so that it's able to give great answers, make good decisions, things like that. We are helping a bank, it's a multi-billion dollar bank, essentially adopt and implement AI the right way. So that's another key project that we are doing, another example that I can give you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Impressive. Not just
Yes.
nice,
Thank you.
impressive.
Thank you. Thank you, Carolina.
In the work that you do, you're leading global teams, right? You have offices
Yeah,
in several countries. What are the cultural and or operational lessons you've learned that help you continue to scale? And what is that
absolutely.
like?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. This is something that I've learned it firsthand. It's not that easy to get it right, be it a Fortune 500 or a mid-market company like ours. Our company, we have satellite offices in South Korea and India. We've had people in nearshore locations like UK and Canada as well, things like that. So once you have a digital transformation project rolled out and in progress with a client of ours, having this global workforce deliver quality work, meet or beat deadlines, things like that is always a challenge. And even if you have good people, if you don't get this right, you will not excel as an organization. So how would you do this? Do you want to take a centralization approach where everyone reports all the data and information to the headquarters like we have here in the US, and then the orders get passed to from the headquarters to the global delivery centers, or you do localization, take a matrix based approach and say, divide work based on responsibilities or capabilities, and empower teams to make the decisions, focus on localization, essentially. So there's a delicate balance there. Nobody has the right answer, I feel. And there are also like a lot of cultural aspects also. Like sometimes, like I keep using this word, silence is not agreement in my meetings. There is a yes trap when you're running a global workforce, which means like basically I heard you does not mean I can do it or I will do it. You know what I mean? So that is the yes trap. So, like this, there are so many different cultural aspects that you and your team need to understand, be in very clear communication, do proper expectation management. Having empathy and being very empathetic is also very important, Carolina. That's an underrated quality, I would say, which is very important for your entire workforce to have, because I have seen really amazing, smart people, brilliant ideas to solve different kind of problems that would actually stall the projects, the progress of a project. That could be somebody in Germany or South Korea or in Canada. But, if you have internal biases, cultural biases, and because they are different, if you are not listening to them, things like that, these ideas wouldn't flow through. If you are not open-minded, if you do not have the culture of open mic, they would not come to you, and things like that. So I feel every organization has a version of culture that works for that organization. Everywhere I see, including our organization, which is not perfect, everywhere I see, things to improve.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I would answer that.
Okay, so for IT leaders concerning major AI adoption, what
Mhm.
advice would you give to help them move from proof of concept to real world success in these bigger organizations?
Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of CIOs and CTOs that I talk to is typically, casual first time conversations around AI would revolve around this question, essentially, a version of this question. So, definitely thanks for asking that. So, in my opinion, first thing is invest heavily in training your workforce. Have them pass certifications, have workshops and trainings done inside your organization, so that your workforce can propose and put together plans on how AI can be used or implemented in their department, in their job, things like that. So start with the basics first. So that is what I would suggest every Fortune 500 CIO to do. And also, I would suggest people to not take a big bang approach. Do smaller projects, have real expectations to begin with around what is the value of AI, what the ROI of the AI project can be, things like that. And then, you can bet big, and go heavy actually. So, because AI technology, how much ever, OpenAI or Anthropic, Google or Meta can brag, AI technology in the enterprise is not perfect. It is very, very iterative. It will take long hours to train, infer. Oftentimes, data is not ready for your AI to really train itself and do a great job in the first pass when you try to implement and start using it for the first time inside the organization, things like that. And understanding AI use cases and putting together POCs, and then a phased approach for implementation and rolling out based on the POC results, company wide or enterprise wide. Those are some of the things that I would certainly tell these enterprises. And in terms of like specific to AI, what I would tell these people is start with a enterprise knowledge management project that I talked about earlier. you know,
Yeah.
Label, organize, and keep data ready for AI. So that should be the first step. And and then the next thing would be to connect this AI data sets to an enterprise grade LLM, be it Anthropic or OpenAI, ChatGPT Enterprise, whatever it is, would be good. And when you're thinking about your architecture, have a multi-model thought process, because today Gemini is the best model and tomorrow OpenAI can be the best model. And there might be purpose-built small language models that would do one thing really well. So how we think about API gateways and service discovery for enterprise applications, we should also have a model gateway and be able to use multiple models from multiple providers inside your organization. to implement whatever AI initiative that you want to do. And then once you have your data set good and ready to go, you have an enterprise LLM being used to get answers quickly, increase the productivity of employees. Then look at chatbots. These chatbots can help increase the productivity of internal employees, help your customers get better answers and quick answers, and reduce your customer service costs. Things like that, AI chatbots and LLM based action engines would be the good next step. And then in the third phase, you think about AI agents, MCP protocol or MCP servers, multi-agent orchestration, how an enterprise AI can implement the whole workflow of a business workflow inside the organization. Look at those kind of use cases. So taking this kind of a phased approach is what I would recommend.
Very good. Well, Krishna, thank you so much for coming out and spending this last 45 minutes with me. I'm sure your knowledge is much appreciated. For everyone else, thank you for spending this last hour with us. We look forward to the next episode. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you, Krishna. All right, that is the end of